Okay, so basically, there's this. I was having this idea for video. I've been wanting to talk about 3 shows that I've grown up with that I don't think are talked about as much as every other show. Basically, if I went up to someone and told them I grew up with this show, one of these shows, they would physically say they never heard of it. So, I'm going to be talking about the shows I grew up with that are super, very, very, very forgettable. So, I'm going to be talking about 2 in this video, even though there are actually 3 of them. But one of them is more interesting than the other 2. So that's why I'm gonna give the third one its own video. First of all, we all know what Thomas the Train is. Now, Thomas the Train is a very popular kids show. There have been quite a few shows trying to replicate the Thomas feel. But the one I'm gonna talk about is so forgettable, I couldn't even find it on this playlist. So that would definitely show that, oh boy, this show is never talked about. Disclaimer before I reveal what it is. You would say that both these shows do not exist, but guess what? I remember them very vividly. So this Thomas the Train ripoff that I know no one has ever heard of is known as Team Geo Tracks. Why would they come up with such a weird name? Now, I didn't literally physically watch the show on TV. The thing is, back in my old times, I didn't have DirecTV, so I had to get all my cartoons from DVDs. And that left me with some weird cartoons, like Team Geo Tracks. But let's say, hey, it does exist firsthand. I remember it very well. You know what? I'll prove to you it's a real thing. Just look it up on Google. So basically, this show is just Thomas the Train, but what if it had humans and was very, very, very bad quality? Seriously, the show is 3D. He looks like a kid did all the work. And not just any kid. Cody. I mean Cody, no offense. In a way, this show is kind of like SpongeBob. The main character is carefree, but still smart. And another main character is dumb as all. But I can get why you wouldn't see this as a Thomas the Train ripoff, because the humans kind of add its own feel. And how would I know? I haven't seen the whole series. I only seen literally 3 episodes, which were the pilot, something about how to ghost train, and one where the main villain and turned off the computer map. I don't know what else would be going for this show, but once I got DirecTV, I just said goodbye to a disc of it, and I haven't seen it since. Seriously. I lost that disc once I got DirecTV, and I don't know what happened to it. the same thing happened with the probably 2 discs of the other show that I'm going to be talking about. So, what I'm going to say is, so basically, have you ever played a point-and-click game? One of the greater examples would be a SpongeBob point-and-click game. Let's say, is it just me or are point-and-click games for babies? Especially when you take a book that's literally, point-and-click games are literally just I Spy books except in game form. And then you look at the I Spy series and what, you didn't know? Those books known as I Spy got a TV series. And yes, I do remember this episode very, very. I do remember the show very, very, very well. Okay, so basically, the show was about these two guys. He's one of them. One of them is, can I say, ugly? No offense. The show is still good. And the other one, a lot more bearable to look at, was just a dog made out of blocks. Truthfully, the show looked like it was stop motion. Basically, every single episode of it had the two friends and looking for 4 randomly generated objects. Oh, by the way, I really like how the dog tells jokes. And trust me, hey, once again, the I Spy series is real. Look it up on Google. Well, and the thing about these items is that they have to use items to either decide what they want to do that day, or just help them on their way in an adventure. In one episode, they were actually trying to find pirate treasure. One downside about the I Spy series is that they do look for stuff, and sometimes it adds on dumber comedy. Because they take a long time in that one spot, trying to look for the one item, because apparently they're blind. And every time they find an item, we're subject to this dumb, annoying song that just plays every time they find something. I mean, the song is already annoying to begin with, but they keep singing it. Seriously, guys. Now, these 2 shows I mentioned, and I can say, hey now, very cringy. Don't get me wrong, they're my childhood, but someone can burn their DVDs, and I wouldn't care. Now, I'm gonna give the 3rd show its own video because we're out of time.